Hi, everyone. It is Jaime Jo Wright here at Madlit Musings, and I'm super excited today because I have a friend with me all the way from Iceland. I have Jenny Erlingsson, and I think I got that as close to the correct pronunciation as I'm going to get it.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna say it's correct.
Okay. But you do,
Because I don't say it correctly, I'm sure. So we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with it.
you married an Icelandic hero, so he's
Yes,
he's
I
he's
did.
he sounds like he's pretty awesome because he's given you four beautiful children. And
Yes.
looks like you minister
Yeah.
together. Your bio says that you do ministry together with
hmm
your husband.
Yeah. So attempt to, when the audience is okay with me speaking in English and getting a translator, but yeah, we do. So there's times we're speaking or overseeing children's conferences and
hmm
things like that together. But yeah, so it's fun.
That, that's awesome. I love that. I love it. And we already discovered our common bond of writing stories with Barbies when we were children.
Yes. Yes.
So you gotta love the
Yeah.
Barbie dolls. Okay, I have to ask you this before we go any further because this is really critical to the conversation. What did you like have one specific favorite Barbie that was always your heroine, or did you mix them up?
Oh my goodness. Let me say this. The girls nowadays, y'all are abundantly blessed because the variety of the Barbies, like I remember laying out my girls' Barbies one day and just the skin tones, the hair textures, the height, the petite
Yes.
ones, full figured, all of that. So I guess it's more hard to pick a favorite Barbie now, but the Barbie that I had that was probably usually a hero was we did have some weird ones though, now that I think about it back in the day. You know what I mean? Like some of them were like they were just bedazzled and they were anyway,
Some of them were
but it was
creepy, like
Christina.
weird.
Something
Okay.
creepy, yeah. Was a Christina Barbie. I think there was a Christina and there was like one, I can't remember two of the black Barbies. I feel like they had two different names. Was it Nikki? Yeah, one was named Nikki,
Okay.
but I think
Okay.
her name was Christina. But I had two of them. I'd gotten two for a birthday party, and so they became my twins, and then the heroines
Love it.
of this mystery series that I was writing. So
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. So a little background. So my parents were like iffy on the whole Barbie thing. Like, I don't know if you should get Barbies. Then my cousin gave me all her hand-me-down Barbies, which already had their hair hacked off and they looked kind of freaky. So my parents knew that I loved long black hair. Like I'd always wanted long black hair. So they got me the Hawaiian Miko or Mika Barbie. And she had like the 1990s puffy bangs right here and the
Yes,
long black
yes.
hair and the pretty olive skin. And she was like my favorite. She was always the heroine. I try and pick a different one, and it was like, no, it's got to be Mika.
No,
She's just gorgeous.
it's gotta
She's
be
so
Mika.
pretty. I
What's
still have
her
her.
name? I don't even remember that Barbie. Really?
I
That
do. I
is
saved her for
that's
my daughter. I saved her. Yeah. Yeah. So my daughter has Mika.
I don't know where mine are.
And then another little girl from church gave my daughter all her Barbies. And when my daughter was 3, okay, you have to understand this. So we're gonna go there. We live in Wisconsin, which is primarily white European, and I live in a small town, and so there's not a lot of diversity within our small town. And so
hmm
this girl from our church gave my daughter her Barbies, and she had a couple just black Barbies, white Barbies, just all
Yeah.
different ethnicities, right? And my daughter kept looking at like the black Barbies, and she's like, Mommy, I don't understand. Well, I had a friend. I don't know if you know Kim Cash Tate, if you've heard of Kim Tate.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Who is like
So
the first lady of LSU right
yeah,
now, I think.
yes, she's the first lady of LSU. She is awesome sauce. I called her up and I'm like, Kim, what is the best way to explain this to a white little girl who lives in Wisconsin? And Kim goes, honey, I'll explain it. And so she did this video for my daughter and she sent it to Chloe.
Oh,
She talked about God's beauty and the different skin colors and how they all looked. And then from then on, my daughter's favorite Barbie was her black Barbie. That was the one. That was her hero
oh.
and everything she did. And she called it Kim. So I don't know what her real name was for a Barbie, but it's Kim.
Now talk, but listen, talk about, I mean, what an honor because of Kim speaking to her that way and just then her filter of how she's seen that Black
Yes.
Barbie through and all that. And to
Yes.
I mean, that's such an honor, like
It was
to
it
be
was so
named.
great. It was so great because I'm like, for Kim to take the time, she's like, "Hi, Chloe, I'm
hmm
Kim," and then she talked about her daughters had different shades of black, and her husband had different shades of black, and then her mommy looked like you'd poured a whole bunch of coffee cream in the cup,
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm the creamer." You're
Yes,
thinking.
that makes me think of what I called. I think on a podcast interview with Kia Stevens. So I was talking
Mm,
about how I call sometimes my kids, I call them mocha drops. She was like mocha drops, but
I love
that
that.
song, Nicole C. Mullen. Do you remember
Mhm.
Nicole C. Mullen's song?
Oh
It was
yeah.
her first album. Daddy looks like Mama looks like coffee. Daddy looks like cream. Baby is a
Yep.
mocha drop. American dream. So that's yeah. Just I love that.
I
Even I mean I
love
was
that.
not even married thinking of that at all at that age when I heard that. But I just yeah I loved how
I
she
love
described
that.
that.
And that's how very similar Kim was doing the different shades of coffee because my daughter was 3 or 4 at the time. And so it made sense to her. And she was just like,
Hmm
then she'd go, Mommy, am I cream? What am I? I'm like, yes, honey, I'm sorry.
Yes.
She's like, I don't
Yeah, I
want
know
to be
you're
cream. I want to be coffee.
like was like, baby girl, well, that's how it's beautiful way God made you. Beautiful and
Exactly.
creamy. And yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
so
So,
cool.
oh, fun. Anyway, I love how Barbies, but you're right. I mean, we're way off the topic right
Hmm
now, but I love how Barbies have gotten more diverse for that reason,
Yes.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
educate and also give little girls ones that look like them too. So I just think it's great. But
Yes. Yeah. It's so
um,
fun.
all right. So now back to introducing who you are.
I know. Back to away from our childhood and the childhood of our kids.
I know, isn't it great? I love it. I love it. Okay, so you have a few nonfiction books out, but the
Hmm
book we're talking about today is your first no novel. I was gonna say novel. Novel. It's your first novel, which is
Makes
weirdly
it sound
pronounced.
very
It's your
yeah.
first
It's like
novel.
saying Stephen Urkel versus Stefan Urkel. It's that
Yes,
difference,
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Oh,
my
when
novelle.
he switched to Stefan, Stephen Urkel was
Man.
like, he went from like weird to like, whoa.
I'm just looking back at like just what because my kids have watched a few of the
Yeah,
episodes and just they're just like fascinated. But to think
yeah,
like, man, we were crushing, we were there in these storylines. I mean, we were just I miss that
yes.
era. I really do.
Oh, I did too. It was such good comedy too. But okay,
Hmm
we are really going to be off on
Novelle.
tangents today. That's Novel.
Yes.
Your first Novel is called Her Part to Play. We got the title
hmm
out. There we go. So Her Part to
Yes.
Play,
Yeah.
it's releasing in June, June 18th through Revell Books, and beautiful cover, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank
Um,
you. You did
do
such a
tell
good job.
us.
I'm so grateful.
Yes, it is. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm looking at it now and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll look back at you. So tell us about the book. What's it about?
Oh my goodness. So it's about an actor, a discouraged actor, heartbroken actor, just came
Yep.
out of a really tough breakup and he's had some issues with his career, his personal life. And so he's filming his next movie in a small Alabama hometown and it's fictional. So it's next to actually my hometown, Huntsville, but I didn't want
Yep.
to write about Huntsville and get some details wrong. So this
Right.
fictional a town called Hope Springs, and he is not really wanting to be there. And he ends up having a change in his crew, in his trailer, his longtime makeup artist has an emergency, so he has another makeup artist who comes in, and she's not a fan of his at all. So, and he feels a tension, and she doesn't want to be there because he had something to do with her losing her job in Hollywood actually 3 years before that. So, sparks start to fly, but
I'd say.
sparks then fly from tension, but then start flying for other reasons, and so it was really a fun story, sweet story as well to write.
So this would be classified as a contemporary romance then? Is that the genre
Romance,
this
yeah.
fits in? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
wanted to always call like my writing like contemporary romantic women's fiction, but I don't. Yeah. So,
I know they
but
kind of make
everything
you like,
fits.
yeah, they kind of
Like
like make
this.
you
Yeah.
squish your
Yeah.
book into one massive category and you're like,
Mhm. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always
So we
put
can't
mine in
describe
like,
all the nuance, but
right,
yeah.
exactly. So if you have like that desire though for it to be partially women's fiction, then I'm going to assume you have some deeper threads that are also running through the story.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope I do.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. From what I've heard back and feedback, yeah, I
Okay.
do. That's for me. Like I do want my goal, even with the nonfiction, is to I really love encouraging people at a
Hmm.
deep level, as in like, okay, all this outward stuff's going on. What does God have to say about that core
Right.
lie, that core thing,
Right.
that core fear? And so yeah, so that's kind of so hopefully organically that there
Right.
is that depth, yeah, and those
Yeah.
other threads woven through.
Yeah. And I think with fiction, that's one of those things is you don't want to be preachy soapbox, where somebody's like,
Hmm
oh, this author's trying to tell me something. But at the same
Yeah.
time, when you can finish a book, close it and be like, wow, I learned right along with that character or something that
Yeah.
character said. struck a chord inside of me, and I can
Yeah.
look at God differently. That's when it's really cool.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what type of lie does your heroine or hero
Oh.
believe that you're looking at here?
It's almost hard to not to define. It's hard to speak of because I think as you write, you recognize like, if I've been struggling with some of those lies as well.
Mhm.
So I would say, I mean, for sure, like she is struggling with what does it look like to carry on legacy? What does it look like to
Mhm.
walk in her mother's shoes, to honor that, but then to not be overwhelmed and overburdened by all the responsibility that she thinks she has to carry by herself. And so she is, I think, definitely believing the lie that it's all on her and
Mhm.
all for her to do. And so she's got to work on that. And for him, he's, getting over breakup and all those things, but also trying to figure out, is it about what I do that brings value and worth, or is it who I am? And that's kind of
Mhm.
his struggle, and that sense of belonging, sense of home, being anchored somewhere and not just playing a part,
Yeah.
for everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really true too, because I look at, I mean, family legacy, and you either have an anchor or you're just kind of floating out there going, where do I
Hmm.
belong? Where do I land?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love it. All right, so we've got a romance set in Alabama. I like the fact that you did your fictionalized town, because that's what I do too. I'm like, I'm always scared I'm gonna mess something up, and then
Yeah.
the people who live in the town are gonna be like, what?
I know you got it all wrong. Like, sorry, sorry. I didn't remember that one detail. Yes, I
I
was
know,
born
right?
there, I live there. So, so I'm like, it's close by. It's there, but yeah, I didn't want to mess anything
Exactly.
up.
Exactly. So, okay, why did you switch from writing nonfiction and then move into a fiction story? Have you always wanted to do
Mm.
fiction, or what moved you in that direction?
I think definitely I've always wanted to do fiction, and I tell people that fiction is my first love in writing, and of course writing those stories about the Barbies and
Right.
reading. I mean, so many books growing up, all the time. So I definitely wanted to do that, but I found that as I got older, just being involved in ministry and teaching children's church when I was 15 years old, and you're coming up with curriculum as a 15-year-old, but like, I mean, the Bible stories and
Yeah,
all of that,
lessons.
and
Yeah.
how I taught the stories and how the stories clicked with me, and then that just continued to just as I got older. I studied social work, and my concentration was grant writing, policy plan administration with a focus on grant writing. So writing came
Wow.
into play there, but I was always yeah, writing things that were encouraging people. And so yeah, so it was like the nonfiction part was kind of that natural progression of what I was doing, and then in ministry, but fiction was always there. So even my
Hmm.
nonfiction books, they all include biblical fiction as a
Hmm.
way to kind of get the reader into that mindset, to give them a glimpse of that person's story, and then I bring some application and reflection afterwards. So
Okay. Yeah.
so that it's always been woven in.
Yeah. Story is just an amazing tool at any age. I mean,
Hmm.
you start. I remember when I was a kid. I don't know if you had this. Did you have flannel graph in children's church?
Yes. Oh yes.
Oh, the
Yes, we did.
flannel graph. When the teacher broke
No.
out the flannel graph, my little heart would just go boop, 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 boop.
Yes.
Time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was just and based on the character, that same character may be playing different roles based on, is he holding a staff? Does he have a coat of many
Right.
colors? Like, like it just
Right.
depends. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
felt like magic. I mean, just the way that it felt stuck to that board. It really did
Right.
feel like magic. Yeah.
Right, right. It was totally exciting, and I remember one children's church teacher who would really take us on a journey through the story, and she wouldn't start with the characters. She'd start putting clouds up on as the thing as she would
Oh,
speak, and then the palm tree, which was looked very Hawaiian, not at all Middle
yeah.
Eastern, but it was extremely Hawaiian palm tree would go up, and all that fun stuff. So, but anyway, another
Oh.
weird segue for a conversation.
I know. I mean, I just remember like say learning the 23rd Psalm, and I can see in my mind's eye that flannel graph in the corner, that board in the corner, as
Mhm.
we're each Sunday, memorizing that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
miss those
I
times.
think we should get like t-shirts that say hashtag bring back the flannel graph,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I
we should
think
just
so.
start a campaign. I mean, kids need to experience flannel graph.
Yeah, like you need to get your hands on it. You need to work
Yeah,
through like Of course, my kids see anything that's fuzzy or old, and they're just like, we're not doing it. Like they're just
Oh, I
like, oh
know.
my gosh, this is like gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
My
they're bringing
children have
that.
no appreciation of vintage, which apparently I am now. I'm vintage.
My brother sends me videos all the time. I'm like, dude, like, I mean, it's just really, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
discouraging, but you're just like, wow, I'm there, aren't I? That's what, okay. Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
fun. Yeah, yeah, we've reached that age of vintage, but anyway, we'll embrace vintage along with our Barbies and flannel girls.
Yes. Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. Cool.
It's okay.
All right. So, we have, is it Adon? Is that her name? Her first name?
Adane. And which is
Adonai.
probably gonna be hard for people to pronounce because and this another name, like it's Nigerian. So
It's
I'm sure I'm not even
gorgeous.
pronouncing it correctly, but Adane, because I don't have the Nigerian accent fully, but yeah, yeah.
I
E
love
for
the
short.
pronunciation. I love Adonai. I like that though. Yeah, Adon, that was like bad English, Jamie. That was really bad. But it's
I mean, but it's just you don't know. I mean, like you just
beautiful.
the English language is tricky, you know. So you just yeah,
I think the English language is the worst, really. There's no
you know,
sense. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
no. And honestly, being like overseas and then do my best to teach my kids English while they're in Iceland school in Icelandic.
Hmm.
I'm like, why do we have a C? Because I thought it was
Right,
weird that the Icelandic alphabet did not have the letter C, and I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. You can say city, you can say cat. K and S solve that. Why do we have
right,
C? You know, so
right.
it has been interesting to see it with different eyes.
Yeah, I would totally get that. So, okay, so we have John as the hero, right? And then Adonai
Hmm.
is his love interest. Don't
Love
talk to him.
interest.
Oh, look at that. I love that. Okay, so do they have any history between the two of them when the story meets, or do they just meet? Or did you already tell me and I forgot?
Well, I mean, a little bit of history, but the thing is, he doesn't remember. So, because he was all
Oh,
caught up in his lifestyle, and she was just some makeup artist, you know, in
okay.
the background, assistant makeup artist. So, but, you know, we'll find out that kind of unintentionally, some of his actions caused her to lose her job, basically, and to kind of get
Ooh.
blacklisted. So, ooh, yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then,
she's not a fan.
yeah, no, I wouldn't be a fan. I wouldn't be a fan either. That's some really, really good tension. I don't know that I even call that romantic. That's just
Yeah,
tension.
no, no, it's just tension. It's
That's
just,
just
yeah. And
tension.
he's kind of
Okay.
like, Why are you like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you not groveling? You know, at me, and she is not, yeah, yeah, she's
She's
not
like,
having it.
I'm over the handsome Hollywood hero. You're just a
Yeah,
jerk.
yeah,
You're just a jerk. You're
yes,
gonna lose my job.
yes, yes, yes.
I love it.
That's it. And so she has to, you know, it's like it's just a little bit of little Pride and Prejudice in there too, a little bit. I
Yeah.
guess you could even, I mean, it's Pride and Prejudice probably in everything, I imagine,
Yeah,
somehow. So yeah, yeah.
probably. All
Hmm.
right. So he's the new Mr. Darcy of our era.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Might be stretching it a little bit, but
Yeah.
we'll go there. We'll go there. But- And then she's also losing her mother. And so you're probably dealing with a lot of grief threads
Yes, yeah.
in
So
the
there's that
book.
a lot of grief there, yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
And so that is the weight that she carries and that she's dealing with, and then some other family members too, some different situations. So
Hmm.
there is a lot of that. So I did my best to, of course, and thank you for editors who, you know, the heaviness of it, we're just like, hey, let's actually make this a little bit lighter, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
thankful for that part. But yeah, to
Yeah.
show that, but also to show the hope as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's so true. I mean, the hope is so critical. My mom passed away 3 years ago,
Hmm.
and I've just been trying to, with my husband, teach my children that as people of faith, death is not the end, it's the beginning
Yeah.
of a new life. And there's so much hope in that.
Yeah, there is. Which I'm sorry, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, I know
it's funny.
this season I imagine very interesting too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
during
It
this
is an
timing.
interesting season this time of year. Yeah, you got Mother's Day, and then my mom passed away on the 19th of May, which is coming up, and then my dad's birthday was on the
Uh,
20th. But it's one of those things too, when you look at the process of dying. My mom was always like, it's not death that scares me. She said it's the process
yeah,
of dying.
yeah,
But I look at the process that the Lord took her through, and it was such a graceful, peaceful process, which not everyone is blessed with, to be honest.
yeah,
And but she looked at me and she goes, honey, She's like, why on earth would I fight to stay here when eternity awaits?
Mm,
And I'm like, God, that I could have that type of an outlook as I face the next step of our journey. And I think that's just so, it's such a blessing. It's been a blessing to the family too,
yeah. Yes.
you know?
Because it's comforting, I think it's comforting to know that your loved one feels that way, and so even the burden that you're carrying for them and that, but
Hmm.
then I'm sure there's a part where you're going to scream, but because I'm going to miss you.
Yes.
That part, that's the
Yeah,
hard part. It's like, because
it
it's
is.
me, I want you here.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's
It
hard.
is. But I was thinking, with your book and you were talking about how your heroine is feeling like she has to carry on the family legacy. I think that is something you don't realize until you're losing a
Hmm.
parent to the process of
Yes,
death,
yeah,
that it is
yeah,
coming now to rest on your shoulders as the next generation in your family line. And so I think it's
yeah,
really cool that you're bringing that out in her struggle.
yeah, yeah. It is. 'Cause, I mean, that's this part of like, you are carrying something on, and that is like a part of your story. But then remembering that we have a unique identity, we have that
Hmm.
unique call, and like I'm always reminding myself, Jenny, put on the clothes that are fit for you. So not
Mm,
just something that someone else put on, but like what is actually fit for you. And God help me to put on what's fit for me, and not something like that. A yoke or a burden that you haven't placed on my shoulders. So I think
mm,
that's our struggle and the
yeah.
tension too. A lot of times is we think, well, I've got to put this on my shoulder. And like for me, I struggle a lot with fear of man. So I'm always like
Mm,
wondering, should I do this? What do people think? And so then I'm picking up all these things. The guy's like, I didn't ask you to do that. I didn't ask you to pick that up. Like, what are you doing? Like, you can lay that back down, or go
hmm.
ahead, carry it. Okay. All right. Are you done now? That's
Yeah.
like my process a lot of times. So I think it's with that too, but I'm sure it feels so much more potent when it is somebody like that, and maybe who is not only a big role in your life, but like saying the story in the community and all of that. And so she
Hmm.
just really struggles.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just, it's part of all of us as we continue to move on and we see the process of life moving forward. It is finding who we're supposed to
Hmm.
be and what is our identity. And you
Yeah.
have your hero who's looking for his identity and her having found
Yeah.
her identity in legacy and family, but feeling like somehow she's got to keep that up.
Yes.
And then finding
Exactly.
out that God has your own journey for you. And I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. This is going to be such a good book. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
I know, me neither. All
Have you
the
gotten your
excitement, but also like, oh God, I like it.
Oh yeah, I
Sorry.
know, like right. Yeah, no, there's that vulnerability. Yeah, oh, I totally get that. I totally get that. My
Yeah.
last book
Yeah.
that just came out, I was kind of like, oh boy, it's my career ender. Bye-bye, everyone. After this one, it's the worst one I've ever written.
Oh, that's
All
just
the
good stuff.
insecurities you feel as an author. Yeah. And so much of your heart is poured out onto the page. I don't know if readers really
Hmm.
realize how much of an author's soul becomes a
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay. So, readers who are wanting to pick up the book and more importantly, get to know you as an author, how do they do that?
I would say the best place is if you want to get off those social media streets. I like to call them those side streets and such, is to head over to my website, which is JennyErlingsson.com. And so you'll see all the links to different places from Goodreads to BookBub. But also I have a Her Part to Play specific page. So I have a little bit glimpse of what do these characters look like, some inspiration behind it, and different other reviews and endorsements as well. But you can also find all the links to order Her Part to Play, which right now it's up for pre-order, and Baker Bookhouse, of course, and has an
Yeah.
amazing deal always ahead of time, which is it's really great because I know as things get tight, like I'm so thankful that there's opportunity to not only get a really good deal, but then surprise yourself with a book that you forgot that you ordered
Oh, I
when
know.
it
I
comes
love
out.
that. I
So
love
yeah,
that. Pre-orders are huge. The authors
yes,
love pre-orders and readers. Yeah, if you pre-order from Baker, you usually get the book early too.
yeah,
Because
no, that's awesome.
I've been to Baker Bookhouse, the store, and I've also been to Baker Books, which is literally like 15 minutes from the store. So you've got the warehouse and you've got the store, and that's how they get the
That's
books early.
That is awesome. Yes, that
It's
makes so much
really
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if you order it from Amazon, you literally have to wait till the first day, and that's when they ship
Yeah.
it. They don't even ship it early.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Ugh, such a long
Fabulous.
early surprise. Yes. Go bigger.
Awesome. Yes, and I do encourage
What's
all.
your favorite retailer? Favorite retailer.
Yeah,
So whatever
favorite
you want to go.
retailer, favorite, or honestly, the other thing I like to say is go to your favorite indie bookstore, and if they don't
Yeah.
already have it on order to stock, ask them to, or ask them to at least order your book, because you'll be surprised if you're willing to wait a little bit longer, they'll get that book in and they'll be like, "Oh, this looks good. We might stock a few," and
Mm,
that helps the authors out too.
yes. Yes. That's just such a good idea. Thank
So
you.
that's cool. Yeah, absolutely, and definitely go to her website, Jenny's website, because the pictures are really cool. It's so fun to get this behind the scenes stuff. I'm like looking at it going, and there's an excerpt. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm going to get lost down another rabbit trail. So, Jenny, thank you so much for being on here and putting up with my
Thank you, Jamie.
randomness. And
No, I love it. Thank you so much.
it's been such a blessing to chat with you.
Yeah, you as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you.